So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Holy smokes!
The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat is.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
You've worked hard, saved diligently, and now retirement is on the horizon. But will your nest egg go the distance? With rising costs and uncertain markets, there's no time for oversimplified plans. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
All right, welcome back to the show. This is really interesting. So there's a program that the state offers. They're trying to grow the program in certain parts of the state. This story comes to us out of Yakima County. They talked to a woman whose name is Laura Murphy. This is from Seattle Times. She's out of Yakima County, and she says that her child care center, which she has been running for a while, is usually packed to the point where people have to wait 6 to 9 months just to get in. So you're on a wait list. And any parent out there who has ever had their kid in, especially pre-K, we're all used to this. We're all used to looking at getting on these lists. You apply to 5 or 6 places.
Yeah.
You do a lot of touring of these things. You want to put your kids in the best hands. You want to make sure that they get the best care. On top of the price, which can be very, prohibitive and expensive, then you have to get on a wait list, and then you hope that, enough people, get in other places that your spot opens up. Anyway, she's saying this year she doesn't have a wait list. And instead, she has 10 vacancies, which is very strange until you add in the addition of something that they're trying now in her local school district called the Transition to Kindergarten program. And this is a state-run program, and it's trying to get 4-year-olds in pre-K. It's trying to get, make space for 4-year-olds to get basically like you get socially ready for kindergarten.
Yeah, it's like pre-K.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah. And so she's saying, like, listen, I understand the desire to want to make this program, achievable for more people. It's public funds. Mm-hmm. It's going to be folks who maybe otherwise wouldn't be able to afford childcare, or maybe it's, helps with the burden of some of that cost.
Sure.
But it is killing my business. And it's a tricky area because there's a lot of people who think like, okay, really great that you're offering options for kids in public school spaces. It's oftentimes at public schools, so they already have the facilities.
Yeah.
Do you see any issues with this program? Or are you okay
no,
with
I think it's a great program, and if it eats into the private sector's childcare, that's just the way fair market works.
That's not a fair market.
I think it. Well, I think
it's literally the opposite of a fair market.
Okay, so
use a grocery store as an example.
I don't want to. I want to use a different example. I already cooked up a different example. Say you operate a ferry that goes across Lake Washington. Your business is thriving because people don't have any other option.
Okay.
Right? And the state builds a bridge.
Okay.
Is it the state's fault that your ferry business is gone? Or you know, I mean, you picked a business,
but that's not what
you picked. A business that was thriving.
Analogous.
Well, you picked a business that was thriving because there was no public alternative.
It'd be like if the state stepped in and built a bunch of competing ferry boats right next to your ferry boat and offered a lower price or a free price.
Well, then
and
that's my tax dollars doing what I wanted to do,
which is to kill a local business.
Yeah, that's what I want my tax dollars to do. First of all, I think childcare is an essential to economic growth. It's been proven 1,000 times over that every investment in childcare, right, public investment in childcare pays economic dividends like tenfold for the amount of allows parents to work and contribute, earn money, contribute to the economy.
I gotta disagree with you.
No, that's fair.
Personally, I disagree. You look at our state. You look at our state schools. Mm-hmm. The amount of money we're spending, we're getting less than we used to get. And we're spending more. So the investment has not increased the output.
I'm talking about childcare.
I'm talking about that's a state.
I'm not talking about the school system. I'm talking about education spending. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about childcare. This is state-assisted childcare. This pre-K. This is essentially we're talking about childcare going out of business or losing business because the state has opened a pre-K. Mm-hmm. From T to TK, it's called, right?
Yep. Transition to kindergarten.
Yeah. So essentially, it's what you would have had to pay in the private childcare sector.
Let me ask you this question. No, because it's free. Yeah. You would have had to pay for but it's free in the.
So there's so many families who can't afford childcare. So one parent has to stay home. They can't afford,
Or you have people who could afford it who no longer have to pay for it.
Well, there's the line. There's the line. You're right. There's the line.
Which I'm not it's not the state's responsibility to do that.
It's also not the state's responsibility to subsidize a company who's got a business model that doesn't work when there's a free option.
Okay.
Right?
So you're saying that it's okay for these businesses to go out of business.
Is it better?
Stepping in?
Yeah. Is it better to spend the state's money providing for more families that need child care, or is it the state's responsibility to protect businesses?
Do you think? Well, I think it's the state's responsibility to not cannibalize businesses. I think that's a bad idea. But here's a question for you: do you think it's as fair? Oh my gosh, we're out of time.
Yeah, I know.
So there is a lot of regulations and standards that these daycares and these child care centers are held to that the state doesn't have to meet. Is that a problem for you?
It would be. Yeah, it would be. I want my state-run child care to be just as safe.
It's not just as safe. Yeah, they require more people in the privately run. They require different facilities checking out in the privately run. In the state ones, they don't require anything near that. In fact, it's way more lax on the rules. So you're making it easier for them to do business, and you're cannibalizing the people who are investing in these companies already.
I don't want to be unsafe.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
The Seahawks sold.
Selling price will be an NFL record $9.612 billion, according to ESPN.
What do we know about the new owners?
Vinod Khosla grew up in India, removed from technology.
I never even had a television or a telephone at home.
Has invested in a ton of companies you know of, Square, DoorDash.
Coverage continues on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half-heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Step Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Jason Rantz here with Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. Greg, there are a ton of national advertisers offering services similar to yours. Why shouldn't I go with one of them?
National firms are an interesting phenomena, if you will, because I hear from clients that tried them initially, and they tell me these stories that are just really hard to believe, Jason. They'll call, and the person that they're talking to is really a salesperson. They don't really know the tax resolution business at all. They're trying to make a sale. And so they overpromise, and they'll hook them with a very low initial fee. Then when that case starts moving down the road, all of a sudden the person's getting a phone call. Oh, you need to pay us thousands of dollars to get this thing done. And they tell me sometimes it never gets done.
So it's a tax resolution scheme without any of the resolution.
I really believe part of it is.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn with Nunn Better Tax Resolution. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain. DayandNight.net. Slow drain? Backed up toilet? Call Day and Night to save $100 off any drain cleaning.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. From a slow drain to a major backup, no drain is too big or too small. Whether we're your first choice or smart second opinion, I guarantee our experts will solve any drain problem, day or night.
Now get $100 off any drain cleaning.
DayandNight.net. Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Following the sudden death of Senator Lindsey Graham, his sister Darlene sworn in today to serve as South Carolina's interim senator for the remainder of his term.
Just 3 days after the death of her brother, Darlene Graham was sworn in Tuesday, becoming South Carolina's first female senator. Though she's never held elected office, she previously served on South Carolina's Commission for the Blind and was deeply close to her brother, who served as her legal guardian after their parents died when she was 13. Darlene Graham's term is set to end in January, and South Carolina is set to hold a primary election next month to find a new Republican nominee to run for the seat in November. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
The U.S. naval blockade went into effect again today. A U.S. official confirming that the U.S. military is conducting more airstrikes in Iran. Iran also launching strikes of its own throughout the region. Positive data showing inflation eased a bit in June compared to May, and that was better than what analysts expected. This is ABC News. Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil is suing the Trump administration over what he alleges is a public-private conspiracy to target critics of Israel.
The federal civil rights lawsuit alleged that top Trump administration officials, a conservative think tank, and pro-Israel groups colluded to target and deport Palestinian activists. The lawsuit relies on the Reconstruction-era Ku Klux Klan Act, which made it illegal for individuals to conspire together to violate another person's rights. If a judge accepts Khalil's argument that the Trump administration and private groups, quote, corrupted the legal process to target Palestinian activists, the lawsuit could stall the federal government's attempt to deport Khalil and shed new light on the Trump administration's broader deportation push. Peter Haralambous, ABC News, New York.
A coast-to-coast heat wave has millions of Americans sweltering. In western states, it's hitting triple digits, and there's been an increase in rescue calls from hikers, even in Salt Lake City. Officials reminding people that heat is the deadliest weather hazard in the U.S. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
At 2:02, what will Adam Silver say later today about NBA expansion and the possible return of the Sonics? More on that story coming up. But first, Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Harborstone Credit Union has our update. Let's start you up north. Eastbound 526 in Everett is heavy, leaving the Boeing plant over to I-5. I-5 is looking all right. Everett to Marysville, in fact, is less than 10 minutes. That drive through Everett also looking good from both Bellevue and Seattle. Linwood to Seattle and Bellevue are both 20-minute commutes, which is pretty good. 405 is all all clear till you get into South Bellevue. I-5, you're clear till you get into the U District, and from there it remains heavy down to I-90. Now, North 5, we've got scattered backups prior to the West Seattle Bridge up to the Ship Canal Bridge. 20 minutes to get through all this. South 405, we're bumper to bumper through Factoria. Bellevue to Renton, just under a 25-minute commute. Let's see, southbound 167 starting to fill in between Algona and Sumner, and the Point Defiance Ferry Terminal reporting a 1-hour wait for drivers this afternoon. Earn up to $30 a month just for using your Harborstone PNW Cashback debit card. Open your free checking account online today at harborstone.com/cash. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon at 2:03. I'm Tim Hull. All eyes are on NBA Commissioner Adam Silver tonight as expansion bids from Seattle and Las Vegas are in. But there's a potential problem. Seattle has just one ownership group in the running, led by Kraken majority owner Samantha Holloway and One Roof Sports and Entertainment, with Melinda French Gates among investors. But Las Vegas has 4 competing ownership bids, creating a logjam that could push a Sonics return beyond the 2028-29 NBA season. Here's the commissioner on the Dan Patrick Show.
The only 2 cities at the moment we're looking at are Las Vegas and Seattle. We haven't had a vote on it. It's not a foregone conclusion, but we're in the process of talking to groups that are interested in getting an expansion team in those 2 cities.
Another hurdle, current NBA owners may not want to split their annual profits with 2 new expansion teams. World Cup updates, Spain has just beaten France 2-0 to earn a spot in the finals. England and Argentina play for the other berth tomorrow. As Seattle updates its climate action plan, Mayor Katie Wilson is pointing to reuse commons in Lake City as a pilot for cutting carbon and waste. Wilson says Seattle is already a national leader in recycle, repair, and reuse, everything from tool libraries to secondhand building materials. The mayor says hubs like Reuse Commons fit directly into the city's long-term climate strategy.
We actually have a lot of this going on in Seattle, and I think that's really exciting, and it's just very consistent with our larger climate goals.
The mayor says the goal is building a circular economy and a climate smart Seattle. Tacoma police have announced an arrest in a 2-year-old homicide case. Suspect surrendered yesterday at detectives' request in the shooting death of a man along East 28th Street near I-5 in the Tacoma Dome back on July 15th, 2024. He was booked into the Pierce County Jail for second-degree murder. Carl McDaniel says he thought he was a safe distance away when a bison suddenly charged at Yellowstone National Park. The 65-year-old from the town of Kendall, east of Bellingham, tells CNN there wasn't time to react. The animal charged, tossed him into the air, and then stood over him. McDaniel says he thought the bison could have stopped or gored him. Instead, it walked away. McDaniel broke his femur near his hip. He underwent surgery Sunday and is starting to have physical therapy. The National Park Service reminds visitors to stay at least 25 yards away from bison. It says the animals can run 3 times faster than people. Costco is expanding. Costco announcing plans to open 7 new stores next month, including 2 in Texas and others in New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Georgia, and Missouri. The company says demand remains strong with nearly 83 million paid memberships worldwide. Your forecast, sunshine today and a high of 78. Tonight, clear skies and 68. Another mostly sunny day tomorrow, 84 for the high. Chance of showers sneaks in on Thursday morning, then partly sunny by the afternoon, high 74. Right now, it is sunny and 76. In Seattle, I'm Tim Hull, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. We have a lot of great stuff to get to this hour. In just a little bit, Spike and I are going to dive a little deeper into that crazy bison story in Yellowstone. There's even more to that, and I just can't get enough of that story. It's fun.
Well, because he's going to be okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
He's fine. So we can all.
Tim said they run 3 times faster than humans. You think I can do better than 10 miles an hour? Can't I?
What?
I know you can. Well, bison do about 30 miles an hour. And Tim said the average bison runs 3 times the speed of a human.
Well,
he also said 25-yard distance, and that wasn't enough.
When you factor in age, 10 miles an hour is probably the average. That's true. I would guess.
Okay, yeah. Of a 65-year-old grandpa.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so we have all that and much more. We're going to have some audio and lots of fun stuff. But right now, I'm very excited to have on Hannah Sabio Howell, who is running to unseat Jamie Peterson. She's in studio with us. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're happy to have you. You sent us an email. We had a local political consultant on the show maybe like a week ago or so. I feel like it was just before July 4th.
I wasn't here.
You were not here.
Yeah, what's this we stuff? You got a mouse in your pocket?
Well, it's the royal we. It's the royal we. We had a local political consultant on, and he was saying that Katie Wilson, who's the mayor of Seattle, her endorsement of 2 new candidates who are facing off against incumbents is a kind of a high-risk political move. And you emailed us after that. You said, hey, I'd love to talk a little bit more about why I don't think it's high risk, why I actually think it's a good idea. So here you are in person.
Here I am.
And so tell me a little bit. You've never been in politics before, is that right?
I've never run for office before. I've worked in politics for the better part of a decade.
Tell us a little bit about that. Give us a little bit of your background.
Gladly. Yeah. So I started my career working in the state legislature. I worked in a variety of roles as a House legislative aide in one chamber, as a communications specialist in the other, in the Senate, where I was working alongside lawmakers on many of the policies that I'm excited to champion if I have the honor of being elected. So taxing the ultra wealthy, making it easier to build more types of especially affordable housing, fighting for climate justice policy, and ultimately investing in our chronically underfunded services like our K-12 schools and our child care systems and our healthcare system. So I started there, and then I moved into labor organizing, and from there jumped into this race against.
I'm trying not to cry.
Spike, you're smiling a lot.
She's my dream candidate, man. Because, well, Jake and I come from different ideological points of view, which I think is a wonderful thing to have these days, because far too often we can't speak to people we disagree with. The priorities that you champion in your candidacy are the policies and priorities that I hold dear. So I'm very, very happy.
Are you in the Socialist Party?
I am running as a Democrat. I identify as a democratic socialist, but I'm specifically running as a Democrat to step into the future, to take the Democratic Party into the future that I think it needs to move into.
Do you think it aligns closer with the Democratic Socialists of America? Is that fair to say, or is that not fair to say?
I think rejecting corporate PAC contributions and fighting specifically for affordability is something that Democratic Socialist candidates have been uplifting really effectively, and that's the same agenda that I'm excited to uplift.
Spike, you're very excited by that?
I am.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about Jamie Peterson. Mm-hmm. So Jamie Peterson, probably one of the more progressive candidates in Washington. Is he the top Democrat Senate?
Yeah, I think
right? Top senator in
Senate Majority Leader.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of pushback have you been getting from, I would imagine, like very entrenched politicians in Washington who have, Democrats in Washington kind of had their run of however they want to run things for a long time. What kind of pushback have you been getting as you're stepping in now?
Have you been welcomed?
Oh, this is a great question, because this is something I think you and I can agree on, that the status quo hasn't been working, that the cost of living has only gotten so much harder, so much higher over the last 2 decades. Sure. I'm running against a 20-year incumbent, so I would say on his watch, our schools have been underfunded, the cost of housing has doubled, childcare and healthcare have gotten increasingly out of reach. And so what pushback I've gotten from the Democratic establishment is this idea that the status quo is good enough and more of the same is what we need. And my campaign would say, and fellow challengers to longtime incumbents would say, believe your eyes. No, none of the Democratic establishment policies have been working for us if we can barely afford to buy a home, raise a kid, retire in Washington state.
Sure.
And so we are running against this idea that the status quo is working. And this is actually part of why I was excited to get to come on and talk to you. Is one of the things I wanted to raise is that the consultant that you spoke to, Sandeep Kaushik, is someone who is paid by Senator Peterson to use some of these establishment talking points that Democrats have delivered, and Senator Peterson is one of those. And I think not only is that not true, but of course the person who's paid to say that for him would say that.
I told him I don't know their relationship. I don't know if he's employed by him or not. If you say so, I want to believe you. I don't know that that's the case, but I told him when he was on the show, I said, listen, I'm not a fan of Jamie Peterson, in no means, because I just purely by virtue of the fact that he got a bill pushed through, which the governor then signed, to bring an income tax to Washington state. I don't support that, because I think you would probably agree. I think Washington voters should have a say in how they're going to be taxed. And that had an emergency clause that we all know about, which means that it didn't get to be part of the referendum process, so it doesn't get to get on the ballot until somebody puts forward an initiative, which requires like double the signatures that a referendum would have taken, all these extra hurdles to make it more difficult to get that thing shut down. That, to me, is stealing the voice of the people. What's your take on the millionaire's tax?
Yeah, I totally hear that. Well, having come out of, like I mentioned, the labor rights movement, part of the broad coalition that had been fighting for a more fair tax code for years, I was excited to support the millionaire's tax, but I super agree with you that transparency and accountability in government has to be really present. And one of the things that I would criticize Senator Peterson for, and other incumbents like him, is this idea that policy isn't something that we build together. Rather, it's something they hand to us, and it feels rushed and it feels opaque. And I think one of the things that I am excited to bring to policymaking, not only as someone who worked in the legislature, but as an organizer, is buy-in and coalition building, and the sense that everyday people get to shape outcomes that are supposed to serve us.
It sounds like you probably do support the millionaire's tax, but I'm hoping that you're supporting it in a way that give the people a voice, whether or not they want it or not.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. And what I think it should have done that it failed to do was reduce costs elsewhere. So I think that what I'm really excited about is making our tax code more progressive. So instead of it being one that right now asks so much more of you and me than the biggest and wealthiest corporations in our state and the ultra wealthy individuals in our state, I think we can and should lower some of those regressive taxes like sales taxes and property taxes and business and occupations taxes, and then use things like the millionaire's income tax, a broader based tax code, to reduce those costs and invest in our services.
Let me ask you a question about, and then Spike, if you have a question too after this. I don't want to monopolize anything.
No, dude. Have at it, man. She's already got my vote. Go on.
Mayor, you don't even live in Seattle. Mayor Katie Wilson, she just proposed an increase to the sales tax in Seattle. Now, that's going to hit a lot of people pretty hard. What would be your take on that?
Yeah, I super hear that. I really believe in public transit investments as being one of those things that makes our city ultimately more affordable and more accessible. We know it's something that cuts costs both for people who would otherwise have to commute from further and further outside of the city, pay for gas, spend so much more of their time in their car commuting. And so investing in public transit is one of those things that both improves quality of life for people in our city and reduces costs. So I do think that the tools available to us that the city has are pretty limited, and this is where the state legislature could step in. This is where the state legislature could help pull the levers to make it possible to invest in public transit without raising sales taxes.
For full disclosure, were you part of the Transit Riders Union? Was that something you were part of?
I am not a member, but they've backed my campaign.
Okay. Here would be another question that I would have. Are you worried that something like the millionaire's tax or some of these higher taxes, specifically in Seattle, are you worried that they're going to chase businesses away? That businesses are going to say, hey, you know what? Bellevue looks pretty nice to us right now. I mean, like, for instance, we did a story the other day where if you build certain housing units in Seattle, they take like, depending on the zone that you're building in, it's like up to $50 a square foot added on top of
to help afford affordable housing.
That's
right?
required that builders have to tack on to the price. In some buildings, that's like an extra couple $1 million into their cost for, like your typically sized apartment building, versus what they do in Bellevue is Bellevue says, hey, we're not going to force you to give us that money. What we will do is we will incentivize you with 12 years of tax free on that property if you will put into the system. What do you think of something like that?
Well, here's a couple of things I'd love to point to. One is that the Fight for 15 over a decade ago was one of those instances where a cross-sector group of workers came together to say a $15 minimum wage is actually economic common sense. And the narrative at the time from businesses, in most cases, was raising wages is going to crush business, the economy will collapse, and employers will flee.
Sure.
What we know over a decade later is that didn't happen, and in fact, more people had more money in their pockets to spend here at home. And what I think this is a parallel to what we're seeing and hearing now, which is that when we make it easier to build lives here, when we make a tax code more fair, when we make sure more people have more money to spend, it creates a business friendly environment, and it actually makes our economy stronger. And I totally want to address. I think it's a super valid question. The other thing I want to point to is that a couple of studies have come out recently showing that things like the capital gains tax, for example, have pulled in actually 4 times more revenue in their most recent reporting than was expected by economists who thought that the capital gains tax was going to drive out the ultra wealthy or result in people domiciling elsewhere. And in fact, people, the ultra wealthy, the 10,000 people in the state who pay it, are in fact getting so much richer than we even knew, and they're staying. And so I think that's one of the things that we'll see continue to be true.
I got to push back on you a little bit on they are staying. They did just have to, this last legislative session, they did just have to change the law. Remember, they increased the estate tax to that. I mean, we currently have the highest estate tax in the country, but they increased it even further to like 30-something%. Was that the number? I could be wrong about
35,
that.
yeah,
35%.
last year.
Now, they saw that people were like, wow, don't die in Washington because it's really expensive to die in Washington. Now, we're talking about ultra-wealthy people in that case. I think the 35% number only applies to people whose estates were over $9 million or something. So it's like rarefied air. But that was still a big enough number. The state legislator said, hey, we got to pump the brakes on this because we recognize that we're scaring money away to other states, which we have seen. I mean, that's like a lot of people are seeing that. So if we're going to be increasing taxes on the people who are creating the jobs, we've seen Starbucks start to move out. We've seen people like Howard Schultz, who had a lot of money, start to move out. There's indirect, effects of charging more money to people who are very liquid and very able to move that money into a different state. Is that not a worry for you?
Well, what's still true is that Washington State, unfortunately, is the 49th out of 50 states for regressive tax codes, meaning that if the ultra-wealthy want to move elsewhere to pay fewer taxes, the only place they can go is Florida. And so you're not wrong that, Howard Schultz is one of them.
Idaho also, less than Idaho.
Well, Idaho has a very progressive tax code, which is actually one of the things that I point to as a surprising fact.
Idaho does have an income tax, which is like, what is it, 5%? Something around there. Everything they have way less sales tax. Everything in Idaho is half the price of what it costs in Washington. So there are balances. So if we introduce a 10% income tax into Washington, and we have the super high sales tax, which is like over 10%, most in the state, third most in the country, isn't Washington just going to become crazy unaffordable? Like, who can afford to stay here?
No, totally. I think the model tax code, if I could just adopt one right now for the state of Washington, would be just like Idaho's, the most progressive tax code in the country. Because I think that...
But Idaho's run by people who want to see low taxes, and Washington is run by people who constantly are saying, we need more of your money. So like those
because there's no income tax. That's why, to her point, Idaho has an state income tax.
Yes.
Which doesn't require them to have this regressive tax code that taxes the lowest earners at the highest rate because you're paying sales tax, property tax, all these other taxes to make up the deficit.
But they don't want the sales tax to go away. Has anyone proposed that it goes away?
Well, see, there's the thing.
That's a big thing.
It is, and if you're gonna talk about it, well.
Isn't it not?
It is. Of course it is. If you're going to have an income tax, even a millionaire's tax, you have to talk about easing the other tax burdens on the citizenry.
Okay.
And you got to have those conversations.
But they're not talking about, all I hear all the time, and hopefully you can fix this problem if you get elected, all I hear all the time is they don't have enough money for anything. They're saying we don't invest enough in education, even though it's 110% more than it was 10 years ago. The budget for the state is double what it was 10 years ago. You have worse outcomes in K through 12 education, even though you're spending records amounts of money. We pay our teachers in Washington the third highest or fourth highest in the nation, which I'm all happy to pay teachers as much money as possible, but the outcomes have to be good. And I'm not blaming teachers specifically. We pay administrators in these school districts like $300,000-$400,000. Do you know how much the top paid superintendent in Washington State makes?
We're speaking with Hannah Sabio-Howell. You're running for the state's Senate's 43rd legislative district. You've been saying education is underfunded. You've said it repeatedly. Jake doesn't feel that way. Tell him why you feel that way.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you're uplifting so many of the things that I have too as I run this challenge. Yeah, thank you. Because Washington State, you're right, is now 40th in the country for the percentage of our budget that we spend on K-12 schools. The state legislature in the last 20 years already got sued, famously, in the McCleary case for underfunding schools, contrary to our constitutional obligation.
Was that 2017?
Roughly then, yeah. And so people, just like you're articulating, are rightfully saying, why is life getting more expensive here even as things are getting worse? And that's why I jumped into the race, because that's my question too. And that is what I think progressive challengers to longtime milquetoast incumbents are pushing. This is what we're raising, is that we shouldn't have to struggle. We shouldn't have to work this hard for things to still feel this hard. And that's happened under the watch of longtime incumbents.
So you're one of just a handful of progressive candidates challenging incumbent the seat holders. How do you, if you're lucky enough to win election, how do you make change in Olympia?
Yeah.
How do you fight against that machine?
Yeah. Well, if I have the honor of getting to represent the 43rd District, one of the things I will bring with me is my years of legislative experience, where, like I mentioned, I worked for a variety of senators across a variety of committees. I also worked in the House for the Deputy Majority Leader in the House. And I worked for some of the caucuses within the caucus. So I staffed the Members of Color Caucus. I worked closely with the staff of the LGBTQ caucus. If I get to be elected, I'll be on both. I have seen how different factions within the legislature work together to move policy forward. This is also something that, coming out of organizing, is a skill for me, or is something that I learned from organizing shoulder to shoulder with workers.
You're at work in Washington right now, is that right?
Yeah, formerly.
you
I'm
step
not
aside.
currently.
Yeah, gotcha.
But working with organizers and across a variety of ideology, but for one focused purpose, which is making life more affordable, raising pay, making workplaces more dignified for more people. That's something that is a North Star for a lot of people across otherwise what would be differences.
I think there's not anybody out there who doesn't agree that things are too expensive and it would be great if we didn't have to pay as much for everything. Here would be my one suggestion as we wrap things up. And again, we're talking with Hannah Sabio-Howell. Thank you so much for coming in studio. We really do appreciate it. And I hope you're very successful against Jamie Peterson.
Thank you.
I hear he's running for mayor, by the way.
Would you?
He knocked on Laura's mom's door.
Not as a mayoral candidate. He's running for his own seat.
Yeah, he's running for his own seat.
Okay. I'll believe when I see it.
But he's out there door knocking in Capitol Hill.
Please consider, I hope the DSA, please consider just cut taxes. Just cut taxes for everybody, rich people, poor people, just cut taxes. Don't let the state, don't let all these incumbents who have all the power keep spending money without anybody putting them in check. Just take away some of their money and everything's still going to be running. And then people who have money, like you said, people who have money are going to have more of it because it's not being taken out of our pockets. We're going to go spend that money and life will be good. That would be my one suggestion. You may not agree with it, but that's my suggestion going out.
I heard.
Perfect. All right. Hannah Sabio-Howell, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
All right. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Boytine from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. After a mild winter, forecasters are predicting above average temperatures this summer across western Washington. And if your home is struggling to stay cool, your attic might be the culprit. Poor insulation or no insulation in your attic can account for up to 40% of the heat gain in your home over the summer. That puts a load on your air conditioner, and it can leave you sweating. Fortunately, my friends at Valentine Roofing, the team in the red van, they've got you covered. This summer, you can bundle energy-saving attic insulation with a new roof, and you can save 10%. That's better comfort, improved energy efficiency, and less strain on your cooling system. Thousands of homeowners have trusted Valentine Roofing for roofing, attic insulation, and complete home protection because every project comes with the Valentine experience. A seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. Plus, with no money down on your next project, you don't pay until your project's complete. So call 206 Roofing to save 10% when you bundle a new roof and attic insulation. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I on a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, CM Heating has one of the best offers I've heard this summer. Right now, you can get any size high-efficiency AC system for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront cost. And here's the game changer. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program includes lifetime repairs, annual maintenance, and even filters at no additional charge ever. Go to cmheating.com and schedule your free estimate online today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Tune in to elevate your wealth. If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, you do not have the time to deal with a market downturn.
With Mark Stimson and Casey Elkins.
It's important that you know what the rules are, because if you don't, you can make some tremendous decisions that could adversely affect you, and you may not be able to go back and fix them.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth, Saturdays at 11 a.m., right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena, Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. Safeway and Jackson Smith & Jigba are fighting back with the Food First Project. No barriers, just help for families right now. Learn more at Safeway.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon at 2:30. I'm Tim Hole. King County Sheriff Patty Cole Tyndall says her deputies have not been asked to help federal immigration agents. And if that changes, there are strict limits on what they can do. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
Sheriff Cole Tyndall says deputies will only assist ICE when there is a judge-signed court order in a criminal case, but not over questions of someone's citizenship status. Cole Tyndall says if deputies do encounter ICE agents in the field, they are ordered to follow established protocol.
They are supposed to notify chain of command, obviously their supervisor immediately, but they know that they are not to assist.
Sheriff Cole Tyndall says the county has also joined lawsuits challenging federal efforts to tie immigration cooperation to federal grant funding. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Earlier today, we learned ICE is temporarily changing how it carries out immigration enforcement, telling officers to avoid most vehicle stops. The move comes after deadly confrontations involving immigration agents in Texas and Maine. Those stops involving serious criminal suspects will continue. A fuel leak is under investigation in Seattle's Elliott Bay. State officials working to clean up thousands of gallons of diesel after a hose failure at Harbor Island. The Washington State Department of Ecology says between 2,500 and 5,000 gallons of diesel spilled at Vigor shipyards while crews were removing fuel from the USS Sampson. The Navy-guided missile destroyer was surrounded by a containment boom when a fuel hose failed. For perspective, 5,000 gallons is about one-third of your backyard swimming pool or enough to fill your bathtub more than 300 times. The Coast Guard, Navy, and other agencies are assisting with the cleanup. The airline pilot known as Sully has made an announcement about his health.
His voice and words are iconic in aviation.
Hit birds through lost thrust on both engines returning back towards LaGuardia.
In 2009, when Chesley Sullenberger, known as Sully, announced U.S. Airways Flight 1549 had hit birds and lost engine power and would be landing in the Hudson River.
We're going to be nuts.
Now, over 17 years later, Sullenberger announcing at the age of 75 he's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Over 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. In a statement, Sullenberger says he's in the early stages and can find it hard to remember a name or he'll forget a story and looks forward to his future with his family by his side. Alex Stone, ABC News.
For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Warren Buffett is leaving the Gates Foundation off his annual donation list. Buffett announced he'll give about $6 billion this year to 4 family foundations instead. The move follows concern about Bill Gates' past ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Before testifying on Capitol Hill last month, Gates told reporters,
I hope my testimony is helpful to the important work of the committee to find justice for the victims.
Gates has denied wrongdoing and says he was unaware of Epstein's crimes. The man behind a deadly courthouse rampage in Seattle has died. The Washington Department of Corrections confirms Timothy Blackwell died yesterday. No foul play is suspected. He was serving a life sentence after being convicted in the 1995 King County courthouse shootings that left 3 women dead. Blackwell was 78. At 2:34, time to check KIRO News Radio traffic with Nate Connors.
Thanks, Tim. Volumes are picking up in all the usual spots, but no real surprises out there. Up in Everett, eastbound 526, we have that afternoon Boeing Exodus all jam-packed from the factory to I-5. I-5 itself, though, is still looking good through Everett. In fact, Everett to Marysville, under a 10-minute commute. Getting to Everett still looks great from both Bellevue and Seattle. North 5, we've got a little backup developing as you head through Mount Lake Terrace, but nothing heavy. South 5 jams up at the north end of the Ship Canal Bridge to I-90. North 5, scattered backups from the West Seattle Bridge across the Ship Canal. 20 minutes to get through this. South 405, we're filling in from 520 to the Renton Landing. Another backup down in South Center, approaching I-5, so Bellevue to South Center right now, a half-hour drive. It's also a half-hour trip between Seattle and Federal Way. Everywhere else, we're looking pretty good. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Your forecast, plenty of sunshine this afternoon, 78 for the high, clear skies tonight, low 58, mostly sunny and 84 tomorrow. Chance of showers Thursday, otherwise partly sunny, 74 and 78 and partly sunny on Friday. 75 right now in Seattle. I'm Tim Hole, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'll tell you what, this bison video just won't quit. Yesterday, there was probably nothing more viewed on the internet yesterday than that video of the bison in Yellowstone, in the Wyoming side of Yellowstone, attacking that guy.
Carl McDaniel.
65-year-old Carl McDaniel. He was in Yellowstone with his 13-year-old grandson. They're kind of what looks to me to be a very safe distance away.
Agreed.
Based on how many times I've been to Yellowstone, 5-6 times, and every time we're there, you always see bison. And every time
you had video of 1 feet from your car,
2 feet from my car. 3 years ago, we were there, and it literally walks right by, kind of stops, looks around, chewing on its cud or whatever they do, and then it just kept ambling on by. That's what bison do. Sometimes you'll wait there because those roads in those areas, like we were going over this pass. Mm-hmm. Those are open parks. They're not going to stop the bison from going anywhere, and they will not shoo them out of the road usually.
No.
So if you're stuck behind a bison,
we're visiting.
Yes. Anyway, this guy,
a 2-lane road with no shoulder.
Yeah, so we just stood there and we waited, and we were probably there 20 minutes before the bison finally cleared out. But you're happy to watch because it's like you're at Jurassic Park. You're just like, just don't let him see us moving inside the car, and everything's going to be fine. That's what that's what you tell your kids so that they don't freak out.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway, this video obviously went super viral and around the world, but people are asking, like, well, who filmed that video? And the guy who filmed it is actually a Montana photographer who was there filming and getting footage, and he talked to NBC. His name is Mike McLeod, and listen to this. He talks about the moment in the bison attack and what really happened, because in the video, you see the bison get up, he's rummaging around, he's covering himself in dirt. It's mating season, just like all of us men do. Cover ourselves in dirt, make ourselves look good.
Roll around.
Like we're doing something. And then a truck drives by, and then he takes off towards the truck, and then the truck leaves, and then he sees Carl McDaniel, and then he, flings him. But this is what Mike McLeod says happened. Listen to this.
It went from a little bit of amusing to watch to critical emergency. I stopped the video because I could see that bison was standing over him and he was pumping his head, very aggressive and agitated. And I knew that somebody had to distract that thing.
He says he and other campers ran at the bison, chasing it away and then tending to the man who he says was in a lot of pain. What are your thoughts when you watch that video?
They were doing everything right. They were respectful. And once the bison showed any agitation, they left. And they were just at the wrong time in the wrong place.
It's 100%. They weren't like...
No, they were a safe distance from this bison. And the story we're hearing, more details are coming out. There was a group of teenage boys that had kind of had an encounter with this bison prior to Carl's encounter.
Teenagers.
And we don't know if they were aggravating or teasing or whatnot, but
if I remember being a teenager, they were probably
weren't using good judgment, right?
Weren't using good judgment.
And you see Carl and his grandson a good distance from the thing. But where did I hear the story that the truck that came by in the distance in the background of the video may have hit its horn.
May have honked.
And caught the buffalo's or the bison's attention.
Was he trying to honk to scare the bison off?
Or to warn Carl and his grandson?
Maybe.
We don't know.
Possible.
Was his horn tuned to a male or a female bison in heat?
He's like, what's this over here?
Zoinks!
I'm going to go check on that.
And then Carl and his
then he sees Carl McDaniel. He's very disappointed. Flings him
angry.
In the air. As any of us would be.
Well, and Carl and his grandson, they hid among that small grove of trees.
Which I would have thought would have been ample protection from this bison, but he just gets in there and starts running around.
Right, he starts moving through the trees and chasing Carl out of the trees, and then hooks Carl and chucks him 8 foot into the air. Carl's femur broke in 4 places.
Oh, my gosh.
Carl, 665.
Carl talked to CNN. We have some quotes from him. We don't have any audio of Carl, but we're still trying to get Carl on the show. He's a local guy. He's from Whatcom County. So we're trying to get Carl. We're hoping he gives us some sort of a hometown advantage in the interview list, bumps us to the top of the list, because everybody in the world wants to talk to this guy. But he did speak to CNN off camera, and he says we were about 100 yards away. He's talking about the bison here. He says he was not aggressive. He was not having problems, and we took some pictures and decided to walk on. And then he talks about when that white truck went by, laid on its horn. He says there was little time to decide what to do. At that point, he was within 100 yards. He could beat to us in seconds. So I told my grandson to run in one direction, and I went the other to try to draw it away. This guy's a hero.
Yes.
This guy's a hero. He says, when I was on the ground, immobile, unable to move, he was right on top of me. He could have stomped on me. He could have gored me. He could have done almost anything to take my life, and he did not do so. And then Carl did end up breaking his femur. He says all the people that were there were amazing. They were all very positive. They were trying to help as best that they could. He said that there was a nurse who also helped there with his leg and a bystander who helped with his head. He says, I will be doing physical therapy for the next few days to get to walk, but it was not as catastrophic as it could have been. It sounds like he doesn't harbor any ill will towards the bison.
He had the look of love in his eye. I can understand. As a man.
I get it. I would take it personal, I think. Personally, if a bison came at me, I'm with my kids, I got to shove them away, say, run away, kids.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flee, and
I'm gonna rodeo clown this up.
Yes.
I'm gonna get his attention.
Yes.
That's
I would
what
take it
Carl
personally,
did,
and I would ask politely. I don't think they would do this, but I would ask Yellowstone and say, like, I would like a buffalo as a pet. You need to domesticate that buffalo. Or turn him into steak.
Well, I think the buffalo's got it right there. He wants Carl as a pet. He's mine now.
Well,
marked for life.
He had his chance. He didn't take it.
First thing Carl said, "How's my grandson? Is my grandson okay?"
That's a good granddad.
I mean, he's laying there with a leg broken his femur broken in 4 places.
Oh, what would you have done? Would you have? Would you have climbed a tree, or what would you have done?
I don't know. I hope I'd have done the same thing as Carl.
Get flipped upside down?
Well, gotten some air. No, I mean, make sure your grandkids try to run away.
You would have done that.
Yeah, and then
they're safe.
You get in a grove of trees. I don't know if I leave that grove of trees.
Me neither.
I'm staying in there. I'm hanging in there for a long time.
That was a mistake, and God bless him. Anybody could make that mistake in the heat of the moment.
Sure. Hey, who knows?
He takes off running.
Open space.
But if he why can't he just keep circling a tree? I would keep a tree in between me and that crazy bison.
Well, those trees were only about, I don't know, it was 8 inches in trunk size. It's not like he was, because that bison took out a couple of them trees on the other side of the grove.
I'd be on one side of the tree.
At least you got trees between you.
At least you got something. He gets out in the open.
Launch
straight up in the air.
Yeah.
No good.
Well, he's going to be fine. He's already walking.
I think we're going to get him on the show. It's going to be fun. We'll talk to Carl, and he can give us advice on how to not get gored by a bison. What a fun experience. Honestly, you survived it. Worst case scenario, you don't want to be there. You don't want a bison attacking you. But you're on the other side of that bad experience now.
You got the best story in town.
He's going to tell that story for the rest of his life, which if he doesn't go to Yellowstone, will probably be a pretty long, happy life.
What do you do now? I want to go to the beach.
Yeah. I'm not going to a national park. That's what I'm not going to do. All right, we got text messages. We got last call next with your text messages. You still got a couple minutes to get them in. 888-973-5476. Last call coming up next. Stick around.
The Seahawks sold.
Selling price will be an NFL record $9.612 billion, according to ESPN.
What do we know about the new owners?
Vinod Khosla grew up in India, removed from technology.
I never even had a television or a telephone at home.
Has invested in a ton of companies you know of, Square, DoorDash.
Coverage continues on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
Folks, if you don't have plans for this Saturday at 1 o'clock, please join me at the Aegis Living Facility in Ballard. The Impalers are going to play a live show. There'll be a cook-off between myself and Aegis Living President Chef Dirk. We're playing our favorite family recipes out for you, and we will have you be the judge of who's a better chef. In fact, Aegis is inviting chefs from all around the Northwest locations to show off their wares. There'll be a free food tasting, free wine tasting, $2,000 in raffle prizes, and a free show from Spike and the Impalers. That's this Saturday at 1 o'clock at Aegis Living in Ballard. Go to aegisliving.com/KIRO to RSVP.
Thinking about a new roof or exterior upgrade, but worried about the cost? This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We've created our summertime savings event to make it simple and affordable. Save up to $3,000 off your exterior project or get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. And every qualifying GAF roof is backed by our lifetime Golden Pledge warranty. One call gets you started. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
If you're hurt in a car accident, call Harold Car Law Offices right away. They'll save you time and get you more money from insurance while you're able to focus on recovering. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz here again with Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. Greg, there are some folks getting CP 504 notices. This is not something that should be ignored. You need a professional.
When you receive a CP 504 notice, alarm bells need to go off. And as much as you just want to push that envelope aside, because they know it's not going to be good. And it's not a very good notice to get because it means the IRS is really coming down on you hard. Get help right away. Call somebody that knows what they're doing and get some assistance.
How have you helped?
We help them by understanding exactly where they're at. We interview them, we talk with them, find out. We'd like to know, how did you get here? And then we make a plan whereby we do our level best to help people with this struggle they are having now with their taxes.
Judgment-free.
Judgment-free.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn with Nunn Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
John Curley here. When the AC starts acting up, don't assume you need a whole new system. Home Comfort Alliance, their approach is simple. Repair first, replace only if needed. Their techs diagnose the real problem because a simple fix can often get the cooling back up again and not cost you a full replacement. Need something new? Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. That's what we did at the barn. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at homecomfortalliance.com. Call the comfort people. homecomfortalliance.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain? Sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
Jason Rance here. If your water heater is getting older, leaking, or running out of hot water, CM Heating has an affordable solution. Get a new gas or electric water heater installed starting at just $44.99 a month. With CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program, you'll get lifetime repairs and maintenance at no extra charge. Parts and labor covered for life. Plus, same-day installation is available in many cases. Schedule your free estimate today at cmheating.com.
License number CMHEAHL 750LP. D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event is going on now through August 2nd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's cars with a K.
Don't wait. Insulate. Last year, American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $2 million in insulation rebates from PSE, more than any provider in the state. If your home was built before 1990, you're eligible for recouping up to 95% of insulation replacement costs. Insulate with American Crawl Space and keep your home warm during the winter and cool during the summer.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Welcome back to the show. We got last call here. All of the best text messages from throughout the day. We got a lot of good ones. We've done a lot of good stuff on the show today. I'm just looking back. Did we really cover all these stories?
We really did, man. I know. It's awesome.
Every single day. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. We value your time. We hope that you feel entertained by what we bring you. And let's get to some of these text messages. Laura, go for it.
On the attempted baby kidnapping alleged at Pike Place, 360 says, I was working downtown several years ago, and on lunch, I heard a woman scream in her car. I saw a man trying to open the car door and realized it was an attempted carjacking. I yelled and pointed at the guy and sprinted towards him while other bystanders did nothing. It was a mom with her newborn in the back seat of a running car, and her husband went into a building nearby. I made sure she was okay and told her I would wait right there until her husband came back.
That is scary.
Dude, thank you, 360.
Terrifying.
Kirk from Mount Vernon says they always seem to attack people that are the easiest prey. I would have no problem inviting that situation. Ooh,
I think he's saying so he could finish that situation.
Come on over, bud.
On the guy at the Kingston Ferry toll booth without a ticket, Mr. Moon says, I feel great about turning the queue jumpers away. Better than the bat to the hood they deserve.
Well,
this is...
Yeah, but this guy wasn't jumping the queue. That's
I think
the
he
difference.
just was unaware of something. It was a new policy.
Exactly, yeah.
But I have seen it so many times. We've all experienced that. If you spend any amount of time waiting in those ferry lines, you always see somebody trying to sneak in.
Cut in. Oh, yeah.
Who think the rules don't apply to them. Well, guess what? They do.
Back to the hood, huh, Mr. Moon?
Back. Oh, yeah, go for it.
206 says the traffic metering system for the Kingston Ferry isn't perfect. It runs out of paper, but it is a massive improvement. Cutting the line by entering from the side streets was the worst kept secret on the peninsula. Apps like Waze were actually teaching tourists how to cut in line by calculating the fastest route. Seems some honesty there. The guy who got sent back to the boarding pass area may have already cut in front of a very long line of traffic that was lawfully waiting their turn in line at the kiosk.
Yeah, no cuts. Okay, on Taco Bell being
you sure you're okay to read this one?
I gotta.
Close to home
do
for
it
you,
because I have Taco Bell in my stomach right now. On Taco Bell being investigated for parasite lettuce. 360 says, you guys could have some fun with that Taco Bell breaking news. Explosive news, says 360.
Word leaking out of Detroit says, Julie B says, luckily, I never eat anything that has lettuce from Taco Bell.
That's a shame. I love it. I love Taco Bell. I still, to this day, I ate it a ton when I was a kid, and I love it as an adult because it's...
Hey, I'm sorry. This is a Taco Time town, buddy. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything earlier, but this is a Taco Time town.
We'll talk after the show, Spike.
What's that little whistly standoff music? Thank you. Gosh, I have that in my queue somewhere, but you guys did it perfect. Jesse B says, so Jake has an excuse to take an early weekend now. What? On set for you would be Thursday, Friday.
Not doing it, guys. I will be here with you every day of the week.
Listen,
you can't get me out of here.
If there's diarrhea, please don't be here.
If I have to broadcast from a toilet,
no.
That's what I'm going to do.
We'll just wind you a mic down the hall.
Yeah.
And there will be a very strict non-audio version of that segment, I promise you. Doug in Mount Vernon says, good news, Jake. I had Taco Bell a couple of times last week, and I haven't had any GI issues. There are 3 cases locally, 2 of which confirmed contracted elsewhere. Okay. See, this is all just big veggie produce trying to pin it off on sweet little Taco Bell. Right, that's what I think is happening.
Yeah, probably right. On World Cup, Kristen Maswell says, Spike, the hype video for the World Cup with Neil Diamond singing Coming to America in the background is perfection. That was so awesome, and how could you not get pumped up? Yeah, I'll send you that video. It is
I want to see it.
Oh, it's moving. It's moving.
I want to see it.
Jamestown and Eastlake says, Jake, has anyone found out, based on the recent FIFA World Cup tours, how much revenue, not just how many riders, but how much revenue was generated because Orca now takes cards like Visa and MasterCard? My thought is not a whole lot, and please put up the darn gates.
Yeah, this was really interesting. There was an article, and we're almost out of time here, so we'll finish on this one. There was an article from, I think it was the Seattle Times, and you remember on those days where they were highlighting how just massive amounts of crowds?
Record numbers of users of the light rail, yeah.
Yeah, they were saying records and numbers of people are using light rail, and they were hopeful that about 3/4 of those riders actually paid for tickets.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
You're really trying to get my goat, aren't you?
I am.
You're like a bison. You're turning me into a bison guy, just being attacked by this stuff. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We had a blast of a time. John Curley's coming up next. I saw him barefoot in the newsroom. That's a whole side story.
He's earthing. He's grounding.
Yes. I was going to say he's grinding, but that's...
No, I'm not here to judge.
No visuals. All right. John Curley will come up next. I don't know if he's going to have shoes on, but you can tune in for that. And we will be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
The Seahawks sold.
Selling price will be an NFL record $9.612 billion, according to ESPN.
What do we know about the new owners?
Vinod Khosla grew up in India, removed from technology.
I never even had a television or a telephone at home.
Has invested in a ton of companies you know of, Square, DoorDash.
Coverage continues on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM and mynorthwest.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion million of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's Jonathan here from DUI Heroes, and I'm here today with a teenager who's just about to get her driver's license, and she's got some questions for me about driving, alcohol, and how to not end up in my office.
I got invited to a high school party this weekend. What should I do if there's drinking there?
First of all, don't engage in that conduct. It's illegal for you to do it. You're underage and you could get in trouble. Even if you're not behind the wheel, if for some reason the police get called out to that party because of a noise complaint, every teenager at that party is going to find themselves arrested and charged with something called minor in possession of alcohol, which is a gross misdemeanor. It means it could put you in jail for up to a year. So just don't engage. If you do, please don't get behind the wheel. Do the right thing. Call a parent, call a rideshare, just be safe. That was a great question. And if you or any of your friends find yourselves this summer in contact with law enforcement, please give us a call at 1-800-DUI-HERO or online at DUIHeroes.com.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we are meant to live free. Free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if the natural effects of aging are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from aging. John Curley here. Longevity Medical Clinic has been treating the undesirable effects of aging for nearly 30 years. They have more clinical experience with actual patient care than any longevity practice in the country. I've been a patient for 17 years. Wow, time flies when you got a lot of energy. I don't know where I'd be today without longevity. Longevity Medical Clinic was started so people can get back to living life on their own terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter most. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Get your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. Find out more at lmclinic.com.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more.